Hello, 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 and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This is Tea with Lily and a special series that we started on career and leadership. And this is still season one, episode two. I'm your host, Lily Naja, and a brand strategist by day, an event host by night, and passionately enthusiastic about AI. We have a great show today, and we've got a personal brand influencer. I guess you're thinking, what sort of person? But he will tell you all about it. And we're going to talk about branding, leadership branding to elevate your influence. So that when you speak, when you're in the room, you are listened to, and his conversation and the tips he'll tell us will be amazing. But I want to talk about what's in the news today. I always start with that. And yesterday we woke up to very, very sad news. And I just want to say rest in peace, Michael Mosley, because he was such a giant in helping so many of us change our lives with good habits, with health. And yeah, he passed away. He disappeared on a walk on holiday on Wednesday, and he was found yesterday, sadly. So, well, I think Saturday, but over the weekend. So very sad news, and condolences to his wife and family and extended family. He'll definitely be missed. Now, my guest comes from Portugal, and apparently is Happy National Day in Portugal. And did you know, if you haven't been listening, the Euros are starting this Friday, and Portugal will be playing Czechia on Tuesday, and in England will play Serbia on Sunday. So my guest is Nelson Emilio, and I'm going to bring him up in a minute. Welcome, Nelson. How are you, and what are you drinking?
Hi, Lily. Well, now I'm drinking water because it's important to hydrate when we are speaking and along the day. And it's a pleasure to be with you here and with all our guests that are on the other side of the screen.
Mm. Thank you so much because I know you're very busy. And Nelson, you and I have been friends, colleagues. We've shared ideas for, is it 6, 7, 8 years?
I
Something like
think
that.
yes.
And
No,
we
no,
finally
more.
managed, probably more,
More.
maybe 10
11.
years. I don't know. You see,
11.
11.
Yep.
Do you know, I barely passed my O-level maths, so I don't know how to count. 11 years. Wow. And we finally got to meet in Portugal over the last 2 months ago, nearly 2 months
Yep.
ago. I think tomorrow will be 2 months or something like that. So welcome, Nelson. And for everybody else who's just joined us, let us know where you're tuning in from, whether that is you're watching us live or whether you'll be watching on replay. Welcome, and joining us on the Magic Sofa. And as you know, with leaders, we are leaders, and we always have to negotiate so many things. And I think influencing is one of the most important things. And Nelson will be talking to us about it. But let's hear a little bit about his career. Nelson Emilio is an expert in personal branding and leadership branding, as well as executive presence, communication, recognized as a top 50 thought leader and influencer on personal branding for 2024 by Thinkers 360. Congratulations, Nelson.
Thank you.
Great. You're welcome. Or the pleasure is all mine. With over 28 years of experience in multinational corporations, Nelson understands the ins and outs of building relationships and fostering trust. Just a few headlines. He's passionate about helping leaders discover their true selves and internal drivers for success, helping leaders to understand them by combining his extensive corporate experience with strategic consulting. Working closely with corporate leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs, Nelson crafts evidence-based strategies to enhance personal branding. I love the personal branding space, leadership branding, and much, much more. That's how we get on so well. Whether it's refining your online presence or mastering public speaking, you're a Toastmaster as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about that as well. So it's all about speaking clearly, being articulate, and his expertise and passion shine through, guiding you towards success while staying true to your values. Okay, let's get into the discussion. I think we can let me look at how we get the comments in because I'm sure people start to comment in a minute. And tell us what the insights that you think we can start to think about when it comes to being a top 50 thought leader, and that's global, right? That's global.
Correct. Yeah, that's
Oh,
global. Yeah.
fantastic! Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's a recognition. So basically, things 360, they look to different professionals that are already in the platform at different levels, different
Mm,
areas, and based on their own criteria, they decide so who are the top 50, top 10, and so on, worldwide and sometimes even regionally. It's a recognition. So
mm,
it's of course always important to be recognized by other entities, but I
mm,
even value more the recognition of our clients because they are the
yeah.
ones that sees real value because that's where we have impact. It's in their lives, in their organizations, in their teams, and although we can have all the recognition from the industry, I
Mhm.
will always value more the ones that come from my clients.
Yeah. That's fabulous. Oh, we have Gary here. He's saying hello, Lily. Hello,
Hi,
Nelson.
Gary. How are you, Gary? I hope. Oh, we will keep in touch. I will send him a message afterwards.
You need to call each other, Gary. That's what Nelson is
Yeah,
saying.
we had an issue with LinkedIn when we were here in Lisbon in the event, but
Hmm.
we already connected. Everything was solved on LinkedIn side because well, it's technology, but nevertheless, we are in touch and we will keep up.
That's great. So let's go back to what is international, what is the in Portugal Day. I want to know a little because part of what I do is to learn a little bit about other cultures because then you
Okay.
get to know about things and you have more of an understanding of what our history and our
Yes.
present and where we're going in the future. So tell us a little bit more about Portugal Day.
So it's our national day. So it's
Hmm.
the most important day. Well, it's not only it's one of the two most important ones. The other one is the 25th of April, where we celebrate um, our, the change in terms of government to a
Hmm.
republic one, but
Okay.
National Day it's the biggest one because it's the one we celebrate with proud of being Portuguese, and also we celebrate the birth of Luís de Camões, one of the famous writers we had in Portugal.
Mm. Okay. So is there going to be a lot of is there a national holiday there?
Yes, correct. It's a
Oh,
national holiday. Yeah.
and you came to join me on the magic sofa. I'm so touched.
Oh,
I'm so honored. You're talking to me on the national holiday. It's not supposed to be working, so I'll try and keep this brief.
yeah, but I
Okay.
work. Look, I work worldwide, so I work at different time zones, different days where here is holidays in other countries they are not. For example, when I here in Portugal and most European countries, our weekend is Saturday and Sunday. As I
Okay.
work a lot to Middle East countries like Saudi Arabia, well, Monday is the second day of the week. The first one is
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
So I start working on Sunday a lot of times online and also when I go there to deliver training. So we need to adjust to the cultures and the countries where we are in. And well, we are a global professional, so we need to
Mm.
adapt to our clients and their context and not our context. Of course, everyone wants to rest and to have a day off, but I have also days where I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. I understand that. Because I think the last time that we had a call together with the rest of the other team, we did it on our national holiday as well. It was, I think, but it was just a bank holiday.
Yeah, it
Nothing as
was.
wonderful as a national. It was just a bank. I think it was May Day or the end of the May Day holiday. So yes, as professionals in a global, in a global space, we have to work. We have to sort of be, again, we have to be able to have that flexibility
Right.
so that we can serve where our clients need service.
Exactly. That's
So,
one of the most important things from my perspective that
mhm,
we need to have is this flexibility and adaptability
mm,
to adjust.
yeah, I totally agree. So we're on the same page at that. In terms of actionable strategies for your personal brand,
Mhm.
can you just pinpoint just one that we can start, or maybe two that we can start thinking about as a leader in terms of actionable strategies? What can we do?
Well, one of them is live your values, because instead of trying to appear as a different person, if you live your values, you will be connected to your true self, and
Mm,
people will feel that because your values are your GPS, are the ones that sets the path, and
mhm,
of course you are going to adjust your path according to your values and take decisions according to your values. And what I see sometimes is that people try to, once again, to fit in some in different companies because of any different reasons. But when they realize they not feel comfortable there,
mm,
because it's something that is going against their values,
yeah.
they decide to change. And being a leader or working a personal branding doesn't matter if it's a leader or any other type of professional. One of the most important things is to real live your values. Be you.
Be you, live your values.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Nelson, sometimes we go into roles based on maybe where the money is. We go into roles where the money is or where the career trajectory says we should go. And
Yep.
even though we know that there's certain things that happens in that place that it doesn't sit with us, we still go there. How can we not? How can we be cognizant of that sort of thing where our values and values in terms of who we are and values in terms of material things when they clash? How can we navigate
Okay.
that? Navigate that.
Some sometimes things are connected, right?
Mm,
Sometimes people value status, for example. They want to be recognized. And one way to reach that recognition or to achieve the good lifestyle, so depending on the values that these
mm,
persons have, they try to find a path to reach there.
yeah.
But there is an important thing, which is always thinking, I'm doing the right thing.
Mhm.
What I'm doing is impacting positively or negatively other persons. Because
Yeah.
sometimes what I see around us, and in any industry, be it coaching, mentoring, personal branding, whatever, it doesn't matter. Digital marketing is sometimes people try to find shortcuts,
Yeah.
and this shortcut is a shortcut, but going over other professionals in the field that are needed for they need help. And these professionals, they don't care if this person needs help or not. So I want to achieve my goal, so let's go and do it everything, going over, I don't know if it's the right term, going over other professionals. And for me, of course, one of my values is going again against that, because
Mm,
I want to work with honest people, ethical people,
yeah.
that are really real professionals. And sometimes we see professionals trying to sell an idea using their personal branding to sell something they are not,
Mm,
in order to achieve their purpose. And well, once things go wrong, they change to another area, they move. So that's why we see a lot of scams around us in any industry. But my advice is, okay, if you want to pursue money, for example, money it's there, so you just need to identify your how can you go there through your values without
Mm.
putting at risk other people's values, because
Yeah.
that's also important.
Yeah. Okay. It's about, again, it's about understanding how are you helping people
Yeah,
achieve their, whilst you're trying to achieve your goals, how are you helping people achieve their goals? And that way everybody wins, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And also
Okay.
look to long term, not short term, because, well, short term you may be successful,
Hmm.
whatever success means to you. To you, I don't mean you exactly. So to you,
Yeah.
it's
To
to me
the audience. Yeah.
that. So look for mid long term. I usually like to work long term. So
Mm.
sometimes there are a lot of ups and downs, but they are part of the journey that we are in, and we just need to think strategically. And sometimes thinking strategically is to evaluate everything around us and decide where you are going to invest your energies. And
Mm.
it is not always on social media. Please, people that are listening to me, you can do a lot without being always active on social media. So I know a lot of millionaires that you don't find them on internet. And
Mm.
they do business, like they do their business, they have their own network because they know how to act strategically and how to increase their network to reach their goals in a way that is supported through real connections, to they
Yeah.
do real bonding with other people. And that's not what we see a lot of times on social media, because then
Yeah.
you are playing the game of different platforms, and you are not playing your own game. So you are not setting the rules. You are using the rules of someone, of the platforms that we have and that we use. They're important, of course, but maybe you don't need to use them. So looking for strategies and formulas that
Mm.
works for others and probably are not working for you.
Yes. So the thing here is that not everything is on social media. Not everything should be on social media. And I think, secondly, what I heard from there is that you are playing the algorithm's game. It is not
Exactly.
your game. You're playing a game that the algorithm will lead on, and you will never catch up because it changes, doesn't it?
Exactly.
The Instagram has a different algo, LinkedIn has a different algo, Facebook has a different algo, and the rest of them, the X's and the all about, something like email marketing, telephone, picking up the phone and calling people. People have actually forgotten
Yeah.
that the telephone is probably one of the better communications tools that was
Yeah.
ever invented by man, you know but we forget, we don't use it, and that
No.
causes problems. And you know what, I'm going to come off the screen because when I started, the sun was nowhere to be seen. It's woken up, everything is
Yeah.
bright now. Come off the screen, Nelson. I'm still
Okay.
talking to you, but I'll change my setting a little bit. This is what happens
And
with
as you
live.
change your settings, I will pick up one of the things you mentioned about so playing the algo rules, because in fact there is no one outside the companies that build different platforms that knows exactly how the algorithm works. So sometimes if by guessing, trial and error, that's what I do, contacting people that are inside the companies, but play your own game, define your own algorithm. And one of the most important things is that sometimes we misunderstand the mission of different platforms, and LinkedIn is one of them. So if you go and see, LinkedIn's mission is to connect professionals and make them more successful. So LinkedIn is a networking platform. It's not a platform where we need to post a lot. Of course, it's important
Mm.
to share your knowledge with people, but connection that you
Yeah.
mentioned, it's critical. I usually do two things. When I target someone that is one of my potential clients, my ideal client profile, what I do is when I connect and I send a connection request, then I send a thank you message or by video or by audio. And
I've
I
seen
use
that.
those
It's
tools.
brilliant.
Yes, I sent you one also to all the event participants
Hmm.
because so we were there and I wanted to connect. We already saw each other. But why I do that for my ideal clients profile? Because I want them to see me and to
Mm.
hear me instead of reading me. Because reading, they can have a different understanding, is not personal,
Hmm.
and of course it takes time, and it's not with AI. So it's not AI behind. So I don't
Yeah.
have a standard message with a different name. No, it's me recording the message to professional, and I use voice message a lot because I
Mm.
want people to feel what I'm expressing.
Yes.
And with internet, we forgot that we can use that.
Mm.
So we can go back to basics and to connect to people with video, with audio, and on person eye to eye, so person to person. And we can schedule calls like virtual coffees that we already used in the past because connection is important. And
Yeah.
we forget that we need to connect at a deeper level, not only so, hi, how are you? Everything it's okay. And this is very shallow. And
Mm.
people will only work with you if they really trust you or if they are interested in something that you have, of course. But if they really trust you, if you can transmit some trust, if they think that there are values that are aligned with their values,
Mm. Mm.
and and sometimes we forget about it. And even it doesn't matter if we are selling services, products, or if we are in a company working with employees,
Mm.
because although at the end of the day, every organization wants more revenue, the
Yeah.
revenue can only be achieved through people.
Yeah.
So if we value them, if we empower them, we can help them to not only be better professionals, but to be feel more comfortable inside the company, inside the organization, to achieve what the company wants to achieve.
Okay. So I think when you mentioned the video thing, Gary's saying that he started doing that with new LinkedIn connections after he connected. There's decidedly more appreciated um, after the connection. So and I think that's fantastic. I have to start doing that. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. I'll do a few and see how that works with my new connections because I really don't have an excuse not to because this platform that I have is very easy to record something. It doesn't always have to be live. In
Mhm.
terms of this LinkedIn Live or the live broadcast, it doesn't always have to be live. You can record it and send it to someone, or even I think you're the LinkedIn person, Nelson. I know you're a guru of all gurus when it comes to LinkedIn. Buy my book. Buy my book. And I've been on the platform for 20 years, but I don't know half as much as you do. What can you do a direct video to someone from your messages?
Not yet. So
Not
we
yet.
cannot,
Not
not yet. No, we can schedule a call,
yeah.
depending on the platforms we have. So and we have a video meeting,
Yeah.
but we can leave audio voice, audio message. But I believe LinkedIn probably in near future will release something like that because I think it's valuable. People
Mm,
seeing you. Video is one of the most important tools that we can have, no matter what platform.
yeah.
And sometimes, of course, people are not comfortable to record a video, but it doesn't need to be a perfect video. It's sometimes even a wonderful, perfect video. Sometimes is something that people, when they see the videos, oh no, I'm not going to. This is a very very high level, and it is
Mm,
not for me. So, and sometimes there was one of my clients, now client, he said, Nelson, your first video, I thought it was done through AI because at that time I had a different computer
mm,
and there were some cuts in the video, so it didn't feel natural. So
Yeah.
it did feel like something artificial, but it was not. So when I record like here, so for example, my background, it's not a virtual background. It's a normal background where I can change everything around except the blue background. So I cannot
Mm,
change it because it's painted. But so I try to use everything natural, of course, considering the quality. And that's why I send the videos, because people want to see and to hear you. And through your voice and through your movements, they are evaluating you. And they say, well, I like this approach. And sometimes I hear, you are the first person that sent me or audio or a video message, and this is impactful. And I already got several businesses just for reaching out. So people contact me,
mm,
and then I interact with video. Said, Nelson, you marked me, so you did something that was different. So
mm.
that's why I continue to talk with you. Then I liked your approach, and we are working because of that. Because one of the things I do is I ask every time I won or I lose a deal, why I won that deal and why
Mhm.
I lost that deal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the grammar was not correct, but you understand. So
Yeah. Yeah. You need to know at the end of I mean, the end of it, you need to know
why?
how, why you
Yep,
won or why you lost. So that's actually a good way of understanding what you're doing right, going back to check what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And if you do more of the things you're doing well, and less of the things you're not doing well, or eliminate them altogether. And it's all about being understanding that we're all humans and we will make mistakes or we will go the wrong path.
of course.
And it's about understanding how you get back to the right path and go forward. So that is a very interesting. I think Gary said I create and send video messages directly from LinkedIn from the mobile app. I'll have to try
Yeah.
that tomorrow, I think.
Well, I need to try because I
Yeah.
could not send video message from mine, but I will try that. Thank you,
But
Gary.
maybe on the app, on the mobile app rather than on a desktop. I tend to do a lot on the desktop because I'm able to do more.
Yeah.
But maybe on the app, it might be something different. I'll send you a video tomorrow, Nelson and Gary, just to test it out. You're my guinea pigs.
Go ahead.
All right. Is that all right?
So I'm checking here the camera. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Correct, Gary. Yes, I can send a video from
Gary
here.
to the
Yep.
rescue. Gary to the rescue. Thank you, Gary. So, in terms of what you've shared with us, Nelson, what are the three tips? I think you've mentioned a couple, but I just wanted you to um, wrap it up for us because leadership is it's just it's not about your title, is it? Or how big your office is, because now nobody has real offices anymore. Or how big your background on Zoom is, whether it's your own house or the big house in the Hamptons, you know.
Yeah.
But what are the three things that we can take with us on this leadership journey that we're all, or some of us feel that we're on, whether we've been given that badge is another matter, but we feel we're on. So what are the three things that we can do to help us help ourselves and the people that we've been entrusted to lead?
Okay. So first of all, you need to connect with them and know them. So
Mm,
when you know people, when you are really interested in knowing people,
mm,
personal contacts, professional contacts, depending on what this person wants to share with you know what drives them. You know what kind of needs they have and what needs can you fulfill as a leader inside
mm.
the organization.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may not be able to do everything, but get to know your people. Second, be clear, be clear, be transparent, say the truth when you are interact with them. Don't have a hidden agenda, because sometimes leaders, they have a hidden agenda. And also empower people, because when people
Okay.
feel empowered, they feel they can do everything. They have someone to support them. And
Mm,
by empowering them, means one thing that you mentioned before, which is allow people to to do mistakes, allow people to fail, because if
mm,
they don't fail, they will, because they will, but they don't tell you as a leader. They are not going to tell you because they are afraid of it. Because sometimes I see leaders say, "How here it's not allowed to fail." Yes, it is, and the person that is saying that is probably one of the persons that fails a lot, and it's normal because we are humans. Now,
Mm,
failure exists in organizations. And if we use the failure as a learning process, we
mhm,
are going to help people to not to fail next time, understand why they failed, how not to fail the next time, and also this creates a safety environment, a psychological safety environment. People are able to speak up and say what they think. People are not afraid to make mistakes and are
mm,
encouraged to learn by them. And people are receiving feedback that helps us, that helps them to grow. And these are all things part of a leader. So taking care of people you work with.
yeah. That's very good advice. Because if how are people going to learn? How are we all going to learn if we don't take those risks? And
Exactly.
having a very risk adverse organization means that the organization is not going to grow. It's going to keep doing the same things, and it will be stagnant, and other people will take them, will take them over in terms of market share. So I think that's fantastic. Of course, mistakes can cost a lot of money, if not managed well. So there has to be some sort of framework within
Exactly.
which you can allow people to go out and take risks, good risk, well, take risks in on behalf of the organization. There has to be some sort of framework. But yes, that is very important. And what would be the other one, another thing that we can do as leaders as well?
Well, one other thing we can do as leaders is be present, because
Mhm.
sometimes leaders are not present. Be present means present not only with your team, presence in your organization. It's not be visible, right? It's not being visible. It's be present, which is different, right? And be present in events, networking events from your industry, in the company events. And when you are present means that not only you are visible, but you share your opinion and you value other person's opinions. So this is very important as a leader, because then people start seeing you as someone they respect,
Mhm.
someone that they consider that you are knowledgeable, and someone that they can go to not only for advice but also to help them solve specific problems. Because when you are present, you are fully there. You are
Yeah.
with the team, right? And this creates a perception, a positive perception on
Mm.
people, and helps them seeing you as a leader and not only as a manager or as the boss, because these different concepts.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, there's a difference between a manager and a boss. The manager gets their hands dirty. The leader doesn't deal to that. That's the basic way I can explain it. The leader doesn't have to deal with the day-to-day stuff. Doesn't have to get their hands dirty. But that's even harder, because even though the manager will do the day-to-day stuff, the leader will have to take the eventual rap if things go wrong. So it's a very weird place to be. So lead with authenticity, be present. Any other tips as leaders that we can take away with this?
Well, I think these ones are already very broad, that
Mm-hmm.
can take a lot of effort in order to develop. And also, well, the authenticity is the important part. And when we work aligned with you, well, sometimes people are not going to like it, but that's part of
Mm.
life. We cannot please everyone, right?
No.
But when you act according to your values, whatever they are, well, I think you will have people that will want to work with you and recognize you as a leader, someone that has vision, someone that
Mm.
empowers, someone that supports other people, and someone that is there when something goes wrong.
Yes. You mentioned about being present. I just want to go back a little bit. Like when you're at a networking event, it's about listening, isn't it? And there's a saying that we tend to listen in order to answer the question rather than listening in order to understand. And
Yeah.
there's a difference. I know I'm guilty sometimes, or maybe most of the time, because I listen, listening in order to answer a particular question rather than understanding the broader picture of what the person is trying to say. And part of this job that I do as an interviewer is to listen in order to respond. Unfortunately, um I don't have the bits and pieces to listen and understand in terms of time, but I still try and understand what your answers are likely to be rather than just listening and saying, okay, Nelson, we've done A, B, and C. Let's move on and go to Z just quickly.
But
So it's about
really,
listening to understand.
that's
As a
that's part
postmaster,
of
you know that.
yeah, that's part of human being.
Yeah.
We most of the times we listen to respond instead of listening to understand.
Mm.
And when we listen to understand, we are always putting our looking, saying to the other person, look, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. I'm valuing what you are saying.
Mm.
And based on what you're saying, maybe I will respond in the same way I had already thought, or I will change my approach. But listening to understand is more than listening, is to try to sometimes to look to behaviors, to words, and try to understand what are the emotions behind. And
Mm.
below those emotions, what are the values that drive that emotions,
Yeah.
and then that the triggers a specific behavior that someone has. And I work a lot with leaders where they have an immediate response because they have already an answer to a question that probably is in half mentioned or of spoken,
Mhm.
because it's okay, I already know, so I'm going and jump in and respond. And being a leader is being someone that really listens to understand.
Yeah, yeah. That's fantastic. Thanks for explaining it so eloquently because I couldn't have done that, Joe. You explained it eloquently. So yes, listening, being present is just so important, especially in today's really fast world where everything is moving so quickly. We're running before we can even look at the next thing. It's just scary. Is there anything else in terms of some tips that we can take away?
I have one based on exactly what you share right now. We live in a fast-paced world.
Mm,
Everything is for yesterday, or probably for 2 days ago. But if we stop, if we really stop and we evaluate what we are doing and define our priorities, not based on time, but based on energy, the energy that we spend doing something, but if we stop and we strategize, define a specific strategy, and we plan, we will accomplish things probably sooner than we expected with less energy invested. And I always hear, oh, I want to manage my time, and we don't manage time. That's something that people say, well, everyone has 24 hours. What you
yeah,
manage is what you put inside those 24 hours,
yeah.
but mostly how you spend your energy on the tasks that you have allocated to the 24 hours.
Mm,
And you need to be very thoughtful about it. And sometimes the real trick is let's stop
mm,
and let's stop, and the clock continues, but let's stop and let's think about it, and probably we will decide other strategy to
mm,
accomplish. And I do that a lot. Sometimes I'm stressed with a deadline, say, okay, let's go for a walk, let's go for a bike ride. Sometimes
yeah.
not so frequently. Sometimes I go skydiving because I have different ideas and activates different parts of the brain, which is some people say you are crazy. No, in that situation, I have more clear ideas on things than when I'm doing another type of activity. But
Mm,
when we stop, I guarantee that probably you will think in a different way. And you don't blame yourself by stopping what you are doing in order to gain more time.
Okay, yes, because sometimes we just feel that we can't, especially those who have a sort of service oriented type of
I
personality.
know.
We feel guilty when we stop. Um, talking about cycling, how do you cycle in Lisbon? Because it's so hilly.
I don't
It must be
cycle
very
in Lisbon.
stressful.
I do cycle outside, but with different, not huge mountains, but some hills we have around
Yeah.
Lisbon because I like to climb and go down with some speed, so to have some adrenaline during my tour. But I also cycle, do some cycling in the plain roads,
Okay.
sometimes dirt, so other times asphalt, so different types of terrain. But in Lisbon is danger because you have all the cars around you, so it's something that it's a nightmare. And you saw that.
Yeah, I saw it. Listen, I know you talk about LinkedIn, leveraging LinkedIn. Can you talk very briefly about that before we sort of before we wrap up with where we can find you and stuff?
Well, you can find me mainly on LinkedIn. So that is
Okay.
my preferred network. Although I have other social networks, I don't use it so often. Even LinkedIn, I on LinkedIn to find people, not to be found. Sometimes I do some posting. You may expect more content from my side because there is a lot, as I shared also with you, Lily, when you are here in Lisbon. There is a lot of clients saying, "Why don't you share what you know?" What you share here with us in the consultancy or in the training. And yes, I'm going to share in video format mainly some of my content in different times, but I don't give you a specific date because it's when I have time to do it. But LinkedIn is my preferred network because you can be positioned in a different way than in other networks. And if you use it strategically, you can achieve what you want. And I do find a lot of my clients through LinkedIn without posting. Without posting.
Ah, okay. So LinkedIn is the way forward for everybody. I've tried to type this and you can see that my typing didn't work whilst you were talking. So three tips for leadership. One is to lead with authenticity. Two is to be present. And three is to stop and strategize priorities.
Yep.
So that's what I wanted to type, but it's come up a bit wrong. Please forgive me, guys.
Don't worry.
Please forgive me. But this is what going live is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, this
What
is
you
this is
see is
what
what
we
you get. What you see is what as long as the message comes through, we're good.
exactly.
So we can find you on LinkedIn, and I'm sure you've got your Nelson Emilio
Yep.
slash LinkedIn slash Nelson. So you came with a gift, didn't you? You came with a gift, Nelson.
Yes, you asked me if I could give something. Yes, I can give you a LinkedIn optimized profile session. I don't know
Okay.
how are you going to sort it out, but you do your own magic in order to select
Do my
someone.
own magic.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I think
I
we
can
will
promise
have.
this is a different one. It's a different LinkedIn session that most people are used to. That's what my clients say.
Okay. But the thing is, half the time I'm getting all these gifts and I don't get them. So never mind. Um,
I can also do a LinkedIn session with you. We
oh,
schedule
thank
it
you.
and we can do it.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I'm doing, and then I still get something. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this, but because it's a LinkedIn session, um, I will look at the comments that come through and I will choose
Okay.
at random. I will choose
Okay.
at random, and that it's my show and I get to do what I want to do. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. You
I'll
will.
choose at random, of the person that I think deserves it more. So thank you. Oh no, I have one plug.
Yeah.
I'm still talking about the LinkedIn live session that I'm doing with Goldsmiths University in London on their behalf for the business owners in my borough, so that they can come and learn how to do this fabulous show from their offices Don't have to go anywhere, but interview the great and the good about business, or even sell their stories, sell their business, sell their opportunities on LinkedIn, and also learn. Part of this doing a live is about being confident on
Yeah.
camera and being confident and being authentic, because part of the authenticity that you just witnessed going on camera, anything can happen. And my lighting failed me because it was nice and calm when we started, and then it started to go funny. You get to stop and you get to change and you
Yeah.
get to do it differently, and nobody dies. So it's about helping people be more confident about going about speaking. Public speaking is also another thing that we all fear or feared once upon a time. And LinkedIn has 1 billion people on there from 200 countries. Why not use it
Mm.
as your platform? So there you go.
Yeah.
I'll
And
put
in
that.
fact,
Sorry.
in fact, so people that are watching us, public speaking in front of an audience is more uncomfortable for the majority of professionals than speaking to a camera because, well, I'm looking to you because you are
Mm,
in front of me. So I'm looking to you, I'm speaking to you or to the camera. So
mm-hmm,
it's one person, one object. And you don't see the entire audience that may be more uncomfortable than speaking to someone, and just embrace wherever the live session will give you. So it's part of the game. So sometimes things go wrong, sometimes they don't.
mm.
Just be you.
Actually, thank you for that reminder. My public speaking, public speaking, what do I call it? Strengths were made better by webinars.
Yep.
I used to do webinars a lot once upon a time, when I was still afraid to go in front of live a live audience. But because I did more webinars, I got to practice. I got the nerves out of the way, and that helped me. So at least what the LinkedIn thing can do for us is to help us practice how to deliver and deliver at a pace that people can understand. Because sometimes we talk too fast, don't we? Or we
Yep,
talk too
that's true.
slow, but it's all about understanding the pace of your voice and what have you. So, gosh, we've done almost 50 minutes. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much, the legendary Nelson
Thank you.
Emilio, for sharing your expertise and knowledge about leading with influence. You are an absolute rock star because you've come in, you with very, very calm, and you just masterfully led us through a wonderful session. So thank you so much, and for
Thank you,
sharing
Lily.
all of that. And for everybody else listening, for those who joined in and that didn't speak, thank you very much. And those that joined in that did not speak but commented, I thank you very much, Gary especially. And my name, as I said, is Lily Naja Mensa, the quirky host, always here to answer your burning questions. And until next time, look after yourself and may everything that you wish for be the least that you receive. Thank you so much. And I'll see you at the next LinkedIn Live. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful week. Bye bye.
Bye.